Alright, what's good? You're listening to Daniel and Gian Talk Shit. I am Gian.
And I'm Daniel.
And today we have a very special guest, actor extraordinaire, Sedale Threatt Jr.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
So before we get into it, I got some serious questions to ask you. Have you been, actually it's been, I believe 2 years ago, we were in downtown at Big Wang's watching the NBA Finals. And I remember you and a certain Andrew Galvin talking shit about the Golden State Warriors as they played the Cleveland Cavs. So have you been watching this NBA Finals at all?
You know what? Yes, I have been watching the finals. And let me just tell you this. It is what it is. 100%. Look, the Warriors are great. They're great. But at the end of the day, last year, as great as they were, 3-0, bang, exactly. You know, they just couldn't get it done. There was one more win. They didn't get it done. Somebody else did. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. Now this year, yes, I've been watching, G.
Okay.
And, you know,
Okay.
hey, same story. What's up?
I mean, let's be real. Technically, it was 3-1. They gave up. They dropped game 3 and then won game 4.
All right. Just win one game.
Let's not split hairs.
Just
Okay. Okay.
Wait, no. I'll say this though, for real, man. Like I've actually been enjoying the series, man. You know, I thought Cleveland had it last other night. Was it last night? Yeah, I thought Cleveland had it last night, but they definitely just let it slip. So
they let it slip because LeBron was gassed. He was exhausted by the end of the game. He played 46 minutes last night, and I think he just couldn't, chasing around KD, trying to get in front of Steph Curry. It takes a lot out of you, man. It takes a lot out of you. So, I don't blame him. I blame Kevin Love for going 1 for 9 and Tristan Thompson scoring 0 points. You know what I mean? Those
That's
guys
tough, man.
Those guys disappeared.
That's tough.
Gotta switch the mic, sorry. But to be fair, though, I mean, if that 11-0 run didn't happen last night, it might not be a sweep situation.
No?
Because LeBron did. I mean, him and Love, they both. I mean, I didn't get to watch all the games because we were podcasting. Kyrie, my bad. Sorry. But they 70-something points combined? Is that what their total was last night?
I don't know.
They had almost 80 points combined.
Yeah.
The Kyrie had 38. LeBron had 39.
I mean, that's if you can't get if you can't get a victory from that, something must be going on, and it's not LeBron's fault. But he took the blame.
I don't think it can ever be one person's fault. You know, because it is what it is. Basketball's a team game. Yeah, it is. But it just, a competitor like that, he's always going to take the onus on himself. Because even if he couldn't score the points, it was like, oh, could I motivate somebody? Could I pass the ball? Could I encourage somebody? Could I, take the ball on to myself and say, fuck that, put everything on me?
Right.
There's a lot of things you have to do as a leader, as a competitor. But at the end of the day, man, other guys, man, you gotta make shots. You gotta get stops.
Yeah.
You gotta play ball, and like Golden State right now, they playing great team basketball, man. Great team basketball. I'd love to actually see them and the Spurs go at it, man, like for real, full force. Kawhi went down. I would love to see him in it. You know what I'm saying? MVP candidate, like, what's up, Curry?
That comment sounds almost Andrew-like. This kid.
If it's the biggest two-letter word in the dictionary. Right?
But yeah, okay. Well, let's get into it then, man. So, a backstory for all you guys out there. Sedale and I, we met at that same Andrew guy's birthday party. Sedale was in the master's program at USC while I was there for the film production. And yeah, man, we hung out a lot. We did the tailgate thing a few times. Had a good time.
Yes, sir.
And Sedale's actually, now that he's graduated, I mean, I feel like right away you started booking stuff and started, getting on that actor process. Yeah. So for those of you watching on YouTube, you may recognize him as Tom from the Roots reboot. Mm-hmm. How was that, man? How was that experience?
Oh, that was actually bomb, man. I ain't gonna lie, that was bomb, man. Like, I got a play right after SC. It was called Gospel at Colonis. I did it at the Ebony Repertory Theater. And, small role, but I was around all these seasoned guys just straight out, and it was just it was a blessing to actually really learn from them, G.
Right.
Like, it was years, you know what I'm saying? Just years and years that they had on me as far as experience, as far as, like, time on stage, like, literal time on stage, and that was dope. And then audition process, added, you know, my manager, Jacob, he's, you know, he holds me down.
That's good, because I hear a lot of horror stories, you know.
Oh, yeah.
About managers who, you know, they just, or agents or whoever, you know, somehow just, when you're not worthy of attention, quote unquote, you know,
yeah.
attention's not given to you, and all of a sudden you're paying people to do things for you, to help you out, to further your career, and they're not really there, you know.
Well, it's a meat market. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, I acted for a little bit before I went to SC, and I had a commercial agent, and then it was, you know, you find out real quick that there was 5 of me.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
They submit all 5 of you.
Yeah.
So you might be at that same audition with the same cats from the same agency, not even knowing it, you know, and they don't give a fuck. They just want one person to book it. They don't care, you know.
But that's why I think, like,
So when you have someone looking out for you, man, that's great.
oh no, 100%. It's like, I didn't know the difference between a manager and an agent at first. Like, what they, at least from what they tell me, is that the manager is actually just like a little bit more personal,
Right.
and the agent is actually looking for more volume.
Right.
So as of right now, I still don't have an agent.
Oh, wow.
You know, yeah. I'm just solely with my manager. He's really been, you know, Principal Entertainment, shout out. Like, they do it, man. They really, man. It's a family oriented, really small kind of boutique.
Right.
You know, so you know, I called Jacob before I went in for Roots. After it, you know what I'm saying. We also chill. He came to, you know, my birthday party. Like, it's a family they build over there, man. And so, like, you know, yeah, there's a lot of horror stories. Honestly, like, I heard even from my class at SC, you know, horror stories. People already switching agents, switching managers, whatever, because they haven't found that. But for me, it's just like love, man. Like, I don't look for love. If it happens, it happens. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, symbiotic relationship that me and Jacob have, you know, that was natural. I never signed a contract with him. Verbal, gentleman's agreement. What's up? You know what I'm saying?
That's a chance. That's a real risk nowadays. Unfortunately, it sucks to say that, but it's true.
Well, you know, we come from a spot, man, where it is what it is, man. Your word is your word. What's up? What's up? Yeah. No. All right. You know, I don't gotta, you know, call back. Like, even when I spoke to G today, I didn't have to be like, I'm 15 minutes away. I don't have to, you know, make that third and fourth text. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. Exactly, and that's it. And you know, that's how.
It's respectable. No, it's unfortunate.
That's the way it should be.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's unfortunate that you even have to say that, because it should just be.
We shouldn't have to compliment you for that shit.
Exactly.
Exactly. No, right. Exactly.
Well, so you got an MFA in acting? Is that what you got at SC?
Theater. Yes.
Okay, so my question to you is, so you've been very active since you've graduated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like, I'm not going to say was it worth it, but do you feel like you've learned more just by going out and doing it than, you know, being in the grad program? Because, like, for filmmakers,
like, how much did the school help you?
Yeah, because for us filmmakers, I feel like I've learned more being on set than I did being in a classroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that translates for you, or.
Well, one of my professors, David Warshawski, he told me straight up, like our whole class actually. He said, "Yo, how do you get a 20-year career?
I don't know.
Stay in it 20 years." You know,
that's true.
As simple as that was, it was like, man, stay in it 20 years. All the jobs that he's gotten, like, he's, you know, I don't know, he's early 50s, I think. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, Dave, if you hear this, my bad. But but I think he's like early 50s, and you know, he was talking about how guys his age, the people that came in with him,
right,
there's just very few of them left.
You give up?
Yeah. And so now, you know, the casting director or anybody's coming in, it's like, all right, who are they going to choose? Are they going to choose the person that's, you know, took 17 years off? Are they going to choose the dude that's been doing it consistently for 34 years?
Right.
You know? So he's definitely learned, and, you know, he told us, you know, at school, it's like, man, you're going to learn here. You're going to be present on the stage. You're going to be reading the books and, you know, and keep doing that. Keep reading aloud. You know, keep testing your limits on what your comfortability is on stage.
Right.
Be brave. Do that. But at the end of the day, man, yo, life's outside, baby. School got to be out one day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is life out here. So I'm definitely learning, you know, even getting back to Roots, I would say one of my best experiences on Roots, it didn't really hit me, and I don't really think it's settled in right now, but like, it was probably like my last week, maybe like my last 3 days or something like that. Shot everything, you know, the project's been going well. I've been meeting all sorts of actors, but this one actor that I kind of didn't think I was actually going to meet because we just had different schedules.
Yeah.
Ends up coming in, and I see him down there, and you know, I just kind of watch him move, how he interacts with people,
right?
You know, and he was just so present, so aware, and also so playful, and also like just very attentive to what his job was. You know, open for Lawrence Fishburne, open for play with other actors in the scene, you know, and then also just cool as shit, you know, outside.
Yeah.
Shot the shit, man, da-da-da. You know, nothing ever forced, just, you know, and like seeing what inevitably I want to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Those years, you know what I'm saying? Because that's a guy that's been doing it. He's been doing it since he's a teenager. You know
someone
what I'm
to aspire to be.
saying? Yeah,
like,
man,
yeah.
Apocalypse Now kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
You know what's funny about Lawrence Fishburne? I've always noticed this about him. He's been playing people's dads since he was like 25. And if you look like he's only like in Boys in the Hood, he's only like 6 or 7 years older than Cuba
right?
Gooding Jr. And now in Blackish, he's only like 8 years older than Anthony Anderson.
Yeah.
Playing his dad and shit. Like, why'd they do him like that, man?
Like Boys in the Hood was like 90, 91, 92.
Yeah.
Something like that.
90,
yeah, right? He was, right?
I think it was actually 89.
Was it 89?
But yeah. But I mean, the one thing I like about him is he's right on your whole thing about what your teacher told you. Stay in there 20 years. You want to have a 20-year? I mean, he's done it all.
Man.
He might have faded from the limelight, you know, but he was still active. You could always turn on the TV because wasn't he on CSI or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you could always see him on TV. He might not be in a big blockbuster. He might not be doing X, Y, or Z, but he's still making money.
Well, it's about what it is he wanted to do even coming into the game, man.
Right.
Like it's everybody has their highs and lows, man. You know, you want to be on top, you want to be at the middle of the pack. Sometimes, you know, most of us got to start at the bottom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Work our way up. You know, I think when he was in his Matrix days, I mean, you knew him.
Yep.
People still call him Morpheus. You know,
Exactly.
like, but that's, you know, his love of what he does. You know, I don't know him like all like that. Like we met as
right.
workmates.
Of course. Yeah.
But like, you know, just seeing him and how he interacts like that, man. Like I just appreciate that, man. I appreciate all these cats that come before us, man, because you have to, you got to know your past, man, before you keep on making the same mistake, man. You got to know that, man, so you can do something else.
Exactly. And what's important, what I feel is important is he's been in the game so long, like you said, you would expect a vet would feel entitled. Oh, I've been here, you know, whatever. But the fact that he's doing all this shows character.
Yeah, man.
You know, I feel like
it's almost like when the older actors, though, like once they get over the ego thing, they don't give a shit anymore. They show up, they're just working, they're having fun.
Yeah.
They don't need, because it's like they're too old to worry about the little shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So I mean, who's that? Forrest Whitaker's another guy, USC Trojan, by the way. He's another guy that's been doing it for
years, man,
for a super long time, you know, and he's still doing stuff, man. So
yeah,
that's great. As well,
he was in Roots.
Films. Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was in Roots. He was one of the gentlemen I didn't get a chance to meet.
Oh wow.
He was in. I believe
dropped the Trojan
episode
card on
1
him.
and 2. Oh yeah, right. Well, I'm saying LeVar Burton.
Oh, okay.
Fellow Trojan who actually played the original Kunta Kinte.
Oh, I didn't know he went to SC too.
Oh yeah, come on, baby, we out here, man.
All right.
We out here, man. Yeah, man. I got to meet him when we did the premiere in New York. Very humble guy.
Right.
Very humble guy. You know, my mom's. I brought my mom. My mom was over here cheesing. She was like, I'm like, man, come on, mom, you know, you calm down, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, but yeah, he was another Trojan. Good people.
we're out there. The mafia is real.
Oh yeah, right.
That mafia is real.
So let's take it back, man. So, when did you realize that you wanted to act? You know, was it something that started as a kid? Because I know you played sports. You played college football, right?
Yep.
For a little bit.
Yep.
So like when at what point did you say, you know what, I want to do this actor thing? You know.
Well,
was it something that you always wanted to do, or was it something that people kept telling you should get into acting?
Nah. It was definitely something that I think I kind of always wanted to do it, really, because I always, you know, I'm an only child, you know, through my mother and my father. So You know, moms was working, you know, late nights, so it was after school programs for me, babysitters every now and then, or if I got back to the, you know, to the crib, you know, I pretty much already got my homework done.
Right.
And so now I was left with movies.
Okay.
You know?
That's a good escape.
So, yeah. I mean, but like, you know, just think about it for real, man. All the movies that we've watched throughout our lives, man, that have, like, you know, inspired us, you know, want us to fight, you know what I'm saying? Want us to fuck, you know, want us to, you know, whatever.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all these things, man. And, like, that's one of my favorite movies to this day, 300.
Okay.
You know, I watch that movie anytime. Another favorite movies, Glory. Back, you know, Matthew Broderick, Denzel Morgan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like literally every time I watch that movie, I cry.
Oh, wow.
Since the first time I saw it, straight up. And I like that. I like what stories do for me. You know, my mom told me, she told me a biblical story of Stephen one day when I was 11 years old in my room, and she told it to me so vividly. And I tried to, you know, chuck it up like, and as soon as she left, I broke down crazy, man. And I just remember like how stories were for me. So, you know, I play ball, you know, football, basketball, I tap dance. I used to step professionally too.
Nice.
So all that was a stage, really, you know, people watching you do what you do,
right?
Whatever it is, you know. And I ended up playing ball. I played afterwards a little bit. You know, went down to Florida, trained in the facility. Agent was like, all right, you know, the CFL wants you, Calgary, Winnipeg. So I went to a couple mini camps. Then I went to Arena League in Texas. I played pro basketball in North Carolina. Went out for ABA team in Jacksonville. You know, trying to figure it out. All in all, though, still like, you know, doing a couple of little acting things here. You know, did a commercial here, did this, did that, did a little play here. But, you know, trying to do that plays in theater and sports.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
Whatever. And so then I ended up, I graduated. I got my undergrad from Lehigh outside of Philadelphia. And I went back. I was 3 credits short of my degree. I don't know my damn freaking guidance counselor, man. But 3 credits short. Like,
credits.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. Anyways, nah. Shout out to Lehigh, man. But so I ended up going back, trying to figure it out. Like, all right, what am I gonna do? Like, blah, blah, blah. I took my 3 credit tax accounting course, and then the other 9, I had electives. So it was like, all right, what couldn't I do? What can I not do? Really anything. Anything what I want. And theater man was always calling me, man, and I took this theater course with this professor named Cassie Johnson, and her hip hop theater, Act Like You Know, it kind of just sparked something, man. I did Hamlet. I did this play called The Listener, and she kind of just saw something in me, man. Her and Miss Pam Pepper, they saw something in me, and this is back in 2012, and they were like, you know, Sedale, you should think about this. And it was something I thought about because, you know, I had an offer from Northwestern Mutual to go say, all right, you know, you can come over here with us, and then you can be, I think, an actuary in Milwaukee. And you can do that for 2 years, and then you can come back and, you know, do this. You know, no knock against that, you know what I'm saying? Because I think we need, you know, we need insurance. We need banking. We need investments. I need that. But for me to do what I want to do, I can't have anybody tell me what I want to do in 10 years.
Yeah, it's so important.
I can't have anybody do that. Yeah, so, you know, I went to Lehigh. Long story short, my bad, man. I went to Lehigh after I did the plays and whatnot. Cassie and them, they told me, say, hey, go to this this competition in New York. It's called ERDA. And here, you're going to do 2 monologues, and it's for grad school. See what's up. And it was just that, you know, that leap of faith. Like, all right, God, you know, let me roll the dice, see what happens. Did that. Man, I ended up winning 6 different scholarships, man, to schools all across the nation. And, you know, one of them, you know, after, you know, repeats, and USC had to do a private audition, but, you know, did that. And I ended up getting 6 different scholarships, man. And I just said, you know what? Forget it, man. $900. My boy said I could sleep on his, you know, the arrow bed in his crib. And, you know, actor life, man. You know, 3 jobs when I came out here my freshman year. You know, and go to school full time, man. Like, you know, and you know, it has to be something like, and I might not have known exactly like, man, I want to be this actor. You know, I want to be famous. I want to be, you know, huge. Like, it really wasn't that. It was more so, I felt like football, basketball, I got to a level of athletic prowess where I was like, oh yeah, I know I can keep doing it.
Right.
But I was missing something. just me. I was missing something else, and I thought like my physicality was good. You know, I was brought up in church, but like I kind of have my own sense of my relationship with God. So I feel like my spiritual game is cool, but that third part, as far as like not necessarily my mental game, but I guess mixing that emotional, I should say, that emotional availability. That's what I was missing, and that's what I think SC allowed me to really break some of those chains that I might have been holding on by playing sports.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, everything else, man, I just been blessed, man. Like,
No, I respect that.
Yeah,
Because I knew a few people in the, well, names are escaping me, so I shouldn't say that. But I heard a lot about a lot of the football players at SC. You know, they go take theater classes and things like that. And then there was the stigma of, oh, well, that's the easy course. You know, that's the one, whatever. But my friends who were in these classes, they'd say, no, don't say, you know, I wouldn't say that, but they would correct people who would say that. Don't say this because they're in there giving it their all. They're actually getting, you know, connecting with the material, and they're able to be more open. Because I would imagine, you know, college football team, the locker room's very masculine.
Yeah, man.
Well, you got an archetype when you're an athlete. You got to kind of stick to that that type, and I could see
freedom.
I could see people not having it hard for them to open up because they have to stay in that shell of, you know, what's expected of you. So so when you don't have to do that anymore, it's definitely I could say, you gotta weight off your shoulders, because then you don't have to pretend anymore. You know?
And it's like,
now you're pretending to be other people for fun. But
it's more so allowing yourself the freedom to express who you are fully.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's what people would say. Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I'm all of my ancestors put into one. This is the last, you know, droplet.
Everything led to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't have any kids yet, but I don't have any kids yet. I don't. But you know, exactly. So like, you know, all the greed, all the ambition, all the lust, all the passion, all the sadness, all the grief, heartache, you know, pride, all of it. This type of profession allows me to express all of it. You know, and it's just it's the actor's job, my job, to allow myself the freedom to express that. Because the world doesn't need any more safe actors, man.
Right.
They don't need any more safe actors, man. This world, man, I can't say it's all going to shit, because there's a lot of great in this world, but a lot of the times, man, we look at it with some dim fucking lenses, man, because we just see this.
It's morbid out there, man.
Yeah, man. It really is sometimes, man.
That's why people like you see the light, you kind of go for that light, you brighten people up, because that's what being an actor is. I mean, I'm sure there's part of you that's doing it for yourself, but at the same time, I feel like you also like the way people will receive the material, whether it's because of your acting or just because you're involved in like Roots, because there's a message to Roots. So I feel like, you know, there probably was a strong connection for you personally, where you felt like you were doing something good for the better good of the, you know, of everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
No. Definitely. But like, I might not. I guess when I'm in it, I try not to concentrate on that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm only trying to guys like, this person right here in front of me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
my surroundings right here. like, because if I start thinking about that, then
it affects the acting.
But yes, yeah. But no, I agree with you 100% though.
Yeah.
So speaking of Roots, did you grow up watching the original one? Was that something like? Because I feel like you born 86, right? 85. Okay, so like. Roots came out in the late 70s.
Yeah.
You know,
So,
it was one of those things, if you watched it, it would have been on VHS, and it would have been because your mom, like,
Yeah.
made you watch it kind of deal.
I probably saw it like for the first time in like the 4th grade.
Okay.
And because it was a,
like at school they made you
It was
watch
after
it.
school.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was after school. It was after school. I went to a little private school,
Right.
and, you know, waiting for moms to pick you up, and it's Black History Month, so all right,
put Roots
February.
on.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they put it on, but you know, again, I'm in the 4th, 5th grade,
Right.
so I'm not
It's
that
just
attentive.
right over your head.
Yeah. Like I pay attention to it, but not really. But the first time I really actually ever saw something in that vein that I was like, oh shit, was Amistad, man.
Oh, okay.
Spielberg,
I remember still being in the theater, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
like that, that was visceral, man. That opening scene with the nail on the ship.
Yep, in the boat, yep.
Stop it, man. So, yeah.
It was made for TV back then too, so I could see Roots not being as brutal as Amistad.
Yeah. But like, you know, I was happy though, because with this rendition of Roots, what they did was they did so much more research.
Right.
And but even just think about it, you know what I'm saying? It was in 1977.
We have the internet now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have the internet, right? You know, they actually went over to Africa to shoot. So they had the authenticity of that.
Right.
They talked about the education that Kunta Kinte and his family actually had, and the education that they had over there, period. That it wasn't just, you know, people in huts and tents and like there was no organization. I'm like, no. These people were organized, you know? And just the travesties that happened and transpired, you know, for Kunta to be kidnapped. I was actually, the first time I actually went out for Roots, they actually brought me in for Kunta. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it, but, you know. But I was glad they ended up bringing me back, though. They brought me back, Vicky Thomas, casting Vicky Thomas, man. Brought me back for Tom, so, but cool. But, yeah, I don't know what I was saying. What was I saying? I do that a lot.
No, it's all good. No, I think
you were talking about how the reboot was like they did a lot more research.
Oh yeah. No,
and I mean, it's an interesting point. Like I've had arguments with people that talk about what civilization is and what being civilized is, and you know, I like to think that a big reason why the Europeans were able to conquer and stuff was because they got their hands. Well, first they were able to work on iron. So iron working, the ability to forge iron, and they got gunpowder from Asia. You know, those two things. Had they not had those precious metals,
it's like us going to the Amazon right now, America. We would just take any of those,
right? Because they don't have steel. They don't have.
We're not doing that right now.
I mean,
well, somebody's doing it.
Exactly.
Somebody's doing it. If we're not, somebody's doing it.
But I think it's important. I think it's important that they did take the time to rewrite history a little bit, because, you know, as we learn more, we kind of have to put that out into the world. Otherwise, people are going to be stuck on, you know, something that came out in the 70s, which is respectable. But as we learn and find out more, it's better to educate people.
Oh, so absolutely. You know, it's our job. It's our duty.
Exactly.
You know, just as people of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to keep repeating itself. We don't want that. Definitely don't want that.
So tell me about Hap and Leonard. I see you did 3 episodes on Hap and Leonard.
Hap and Leonard.
I'll be honest, I've never watched an episode of that, but I saw that what's his face from what's his name, Whitey? What's his name from Boardwalk Empire?
Oh, Michael Kenneth.
Yeah.
So I see that he's on it. So I was like, maybe I should check it out.
Dub.
How was it? Did you have a few scenes with him? How was it working with him?
Yeah. Oh yeah, nah, man. Shoot, Enrique, James Purefoy, you know, they were. Ah, man, Mima, man. So the mother from Soul Food, if you can remember that, Big Mama from Soul Food.
Okay.
Man, I got to actually just see her work, bruh. Beast, man. So free, man. So just available all the time, man. Now, Hap and Leonard was dope. I loved Hap and Leonard. I was shooting something in another state not too far away, and I was able to work out that I could do and be a part of them over there at Hap and Leonard. You know, Nick, you know, Mo, everybody, man. They were cool, man. And so I got over there, and my first day, they're like, all right, you know, what do you so I got my measurement. I mean, I gave my measurements earlier, and they were like, all right, so you know, waiting here, and you know, we're gonna get your costumes out. And I get in there, and she's like, all right, you know, we're gonna put on some music just for you to get ready for, you know, while we get you dressed. And she starts bringing in these outfits, bro. Yo, watch it, man. It's 80s. It's supposed to be 80s, Eastern or Southeast Texas.
Oh, wait.
In the 80s, that's an interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting like combination.
Yeah.
You don't really see at all.
Like I would just say, man. I mean, I had the gold on, man. I had the hair or lack thereof, man. I had the Kango on, man. Man, they were great people over there, man. It was a lot of fun. You know, people kept the life of the set, kept that lifted, you know, and you know, got to shoot in Atlanta, and then you know, also got to see my grandma. I got a whole bunch of family down in Atlanta.
That's always good.
So yeah. So I got to see some of them for the first time. My grandmother, a couple of my sisters out there, man. It was.
So when you get a new role, whatever it might be, however big, small, whatever, do you find yourself taking a different approach with each and every project, or do you have like, okay, I'm gonna do the 6 steps, you know, the
you have a process.
Or
I have my own process, but I think no matter what, it just is work. The only thing that follows work is results. Put your work in.
Right.
If you have a big ass fucking role, do your job.
Right.
You got a little role, you know what I'm saying? I don't really, actually, I take that back. I don't think there's any like a big or little roles, but is what it is. People have meteor parts.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? But no matter what, just do your job. If you have to do this, which is an assist game, you know what I'm saying? Like I just did something where, you know, I wasn't, you know, big dog on campus. Me, I'm assist.
Right.
You know, Hap and Leonard, nah, assist.
Right.
How can I make you better? Nah, man, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know, and then like they have to go ahead and shoot the rock. You know what I'm saying? They got to go ahead and be LeBron.
Right.
You know, but you know, do my job. So, you know, I have my own preparation. You know, I do believe for me going and getting my master's at USC, best thing for me.
Right.
Best thing for me. First thing they told me was like, yo, man, everything you know about acting, throw that out. Be an empty vessel, man. Can't go in here, you know what I'm saying? I forget what movie it is I'm about to mix up, but like, you can't fill a cup that is already full. Avatar. Is that it?
I don't
know.
Never seen it?
Finish the line.
She said you cannot fill a cup that is already full, Jake Scully.
Is that what that makes sense? Yeah, I love Avatar. Avatar's great.
I know. Somebody, for real. I gotta go look that up when I go back to the crib now. I think that's exactly what it is. But yeah, man. So I had to pour all that out, and now what's up? You know, and get filled in that way. And like over there, man, Hap and Leonard was dope, man. Roots people were dope. I just did this thing down there in Mississippi. It's time. They were cool, man. It's so cool, like getting onto these different sets. It's almost like it's like a team every time you get on, man. But you really have to, like, you know, for me at least, I take, you know, time to find out the dynamic of everything that's going on around me.
Right.
So find everything that's going around, you know, going on around me, and then see where I fit.
That's a good approach.
You know, that's it. But like, still keep my integrity of who I am, the ownership of who I am.
Right.
But you know,
react.
Yeah, exactly. Rome ain't the same thing as Venice Beach. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's different.
So I know I think you said it was cool to talk about it, but I heard you you got to meet the great Denzel.
Man. Yeah, man. Beast, man. Like, you know, nothing but respect for him. You know, seeing him work. You know, constant professional. You know, he still does the little things.
Right.
That's what I really enjoyed.
Like
about
what?
That.
What's little things?
You know, it's he prepares for every take.
As opposed to like a scene, or doing he's.
Yeah, but every take he's prepared, and the beneficial thing for me is that my professors at SC, they said the work doesn't change.
Right.
If you do, then your work will. Now it can go good or for or bad or against. You can grab that any way you want.
Right.
But seeing a master like that do this, and seeing that he takes the same process, creature of habit, works his ass off, knows his stuff. I'm actually seeing how easy his job is because he's always on top of it. You know, like that is the freedom that I love, because now it's just like, okay, only be present.
Right.
Only do exactly what you know how to do. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, but it was great to learn from him, man. You know, I think the project itself, you know, Dan Gilroy was the writer and the director. He did Nightcrawler.
Okay, yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah. Beast, man. Like, he definitely knows how to work with people. You know, Carmen Jogo from Selma, she's in there. And I didn't get the chance to meet Colin Farrell, who's also
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, just being around so much, you know, tenure.
I mean, you can't get better than that. I mean, really, you can't.
Man.
That's the best right now.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And it's just like, you know, it's just the years.
Yeah.
You know? Because, like, I don't necessarily think you can say acting is subjective.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between sports, the objectivity of it, if I score, I win.
Right.
I don't let you score, I win.
Right.
Cut and dry.
Can't
I don't
argue.
care how it looks. Sean Marion shot from over here. They're talking about ball over here, shooting from his neck. Like, it don't matter. If it goes in, it goes in. Stop it. You know? But now you're talking about, all right, I do what I do, and it's interpretive. Was it good? Was it not? I don't know. It's up for the audience to decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they like me, they don't like me, whatever. I do my job. So now in this subjective world, that's what I really had to get over, man. You know, and like even what y'all do, like literally what y'all, it's subjective. This is the world we live in. Artistic creativity, you know? So It just has to be specific as possible and has to be as honest as possible. I think that is the job for any kind of artist that in this profession. Be that and be honest. And sometimes in the honesty it is ambiguous because sometimes we don't know.
Because that's life.
Yeah, that's life. Exactly, that's life, man. But like, he getting back, Denzel, he just lived in a land of creativity, man. People threw stuff at him and he was just able to go. Like, all right, but he still stayed in the world. And of course, I think that's what every actor should do. Be available for anything. That's why I really love stage. Stage every night it's gonna be different. And as soon as that curtain's up, go. What's up?
Yeah, and the thing about stage, there's no cuts. You just gotta go with it. You gotta roll with it. Whatever.
It definitely
whatever.
helps with memorizing scripts. That's for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's stage work.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't roll it back and do that one again.
Take that back.
Yeah.
Pull the curtain back down.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the things about Denzel. Like a lot of people don't realize because he's a New York cat. So most New York cats did the method acting thing.
Yep.
Including Bobby D, my boy Bobby D, Al Pacino, they all did that. Yep. But Denzel was classically trained. He's a Shakespearean actor. That's how he learned. So I think a lot of that is a big reason why he's able to do what he can do.
Yeah, man.
It's like Kevin Spacey. I mean, people who can go out and do House of Cards and then Hamlet the next day, they're beast mode. They can do because that's that whole thing, that repetitious thing. I mean. I don't know if I read it on an interview or something like that, or watched an interview, where they said they love working with Kevin Spacey in the editing room. I think it was an editing video. And the point of it was he would always give something different each and every take. That was his philosophy. There was no point in him doing it the same exact way. He would still hit the beats. Like if I'm going to, say this line, I'm going to drop the teacup down or whatever. He would always hit those beats so the editing would always flow. Mm-hmm. But between those moments, it was 100% different each time. Yep. And the editors, I think it was on Usual Suspects or something like that, where they were just saying how it was just lovely working with that because the amount of freedom it allows you to create a scene. If I read a take and I'm mad maybe I'm mad but I'm whispering. Yeah. Maybe it's more intense that way. All just because it's different as opposed to the same thing over and over, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But it's just another ball game that these people are playing. Exactly. Yeah.
Giving the editor. I don't want to say a job, but giving the editor variety for their job.
Exactly, something for them to play with.
So they can mold the story. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can only do my job for the story. Director has to do theirs. Right. Writer has to do theirs. Allow that, man. Give options, even to your fellow actors. Yeah. Give them options to react differently or act differently, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No, when I heard that, I'm like, wow,
that's dope, man. That's dope. Never met the man, but that's dope.
He's killing it.
Yeah.
So we're looking through your resume so far, and I feel like you've had the fortune of doing a lot of different stuff, Yeah. I think one of the things that happens to actors of color is, we get pigeonholed into certain types of roles, yep. Just because, have you come across these stereotypical roles a lot that you said, I don't want to do them, or are you at the point where you'll do anything right now?
Man, I want to work.
But is that something you think about?
Of course.
Right.
I think about that, man. I thought about that. I'm about 100. I'm about $190 right now. But there was a point where, when I first came to LA, I was 212, and so now they're saying, "Oh, you're too big." I wanted to do you want to do a little bit of mime. I'm like 212, man. What you talking about 212, man? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about, man? But I had to, again, now at this level, actor life. Not to say there's anything wrong with my body, but for me, I always thought I was small. I played quarterback, wide receiver. My boys are 6'8".
Right.
280. Easy. Those are big guys.
Right.
And so now I got to, sort of just change it up. But not change me, but
adapt
in Rome. Yeah. And here, I honestly feel like, as far as being typecast, I don't feel like I have to adapt. I over there at Principal and just I guess who I am, I don't really feel that all I'm getting is hood nigga stuff.
Right.
I'm not always getting basketball player, football player, even though I have gotten some of those roles. I don't feel like I'm just getting that.
Right.
Because then, I guess because I don't pigeonhole myself, I understand that I don't know everything.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. I would like to know as much as possible. And so because I think I have that availability really, and Jacob kind of knows, and my management team, they know that I have, you know, that availability. You know, I've done Chekhov. I'm doing Shakespeare right now. I got a play going on in Glendale. You know, I've done stage, I've done film. I'm not the most trained, I'm not in whatever, but like I've shown some variety of myself. You know what I'm saying? I've shown, whatever, and
some versatility.
Yeah. And what's coming back to me, I guess, from the universe of the world, what's coming back for me, man, like, I'm getting jobs or roles, at least, auditions to go in there that it says Caucasian, just Pan Pacific Islander or something like that.
Right.
Because they just really want to know the content of the character. What can I bring?
Right.
That's important.
And how and so when I get some of those roles, I'm like, yeah, man. So how can I change your perception of what you think this is supposed to look like? Because so many of us, man, we all got the same story, man. So many of us got the same story, but you're just born in Tasmania instead of France, or instead of Russia, instead of China, But we want to eat, we want to sleep, we want to take care of our kids, and it's a cycle that repeats, As much as we always try to say that, oh, we're different, but yo, man, let some fucking aliens come down here from some other planet. Don't matter what religion you talking,
We'll
don't
all be
matter what,
together.
it don't matter nothing. You gonna see somebody that look like you gonna be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, that motherfucker, you ain't gonna get out of here, man. So, I think by allowing that freedom in me, and then, having, my team see that, and every time I go out and see that, man, like I don't feel like that. But I do know people that do get typecast. But do you accept it?
Right.
Do you accept that prison that they want to put you in? Do you accept that?
I always feel like you also, I mean, obviously it depends on what production you are, because I'm sure there's some productions where they want exactly what they cast you as. But
Yeah.
I feel like, as an actor, you might be able to put a different spin on it, just even though
that's ownership of the character. That's
exactly.
ownership.
And
That's ownership.
sometimes though, obviously the director's gonna be like, no, I want it this way or whatever, because maybe the producer's actually the real director of the set.
Yeah.
And
It's all making a
Yeah.
story, man. Like, it's to the win, the communal win is that everybody does their job and everybody feels good that the story was told and told right. Whether you get accolades from it or not, if you did your job and you tell the story as right as possible. And the thing is, I have to do my part. All these other people have to do their part. And sometimes it's like, all right, it's my, well, I shouldn't say mine. It's everybody taking different points to show their humility.
right.
And say, all right, you know what? Yeah, director said that. All right, so let me give you what you want. Producer said that. All right, let me give you what you want. But as Kevin Spacey, as you just said, yeah, I bet he does probably give a couple people what they want, but he still does his shit. He still gives you that. Because that makes, oh, man, we want Kevin to come back. So.
That's good. It's respectable. I don't know. I just feel like people who have positive mentalities and just a world view of, like you said, you want a 20-year career, you work for 20 years. I feel like it's very beneficial for arts, like what you're in, like what we're in, because I've always said that if you want to be a director or whatever, and you just keep directing, you'll get a shot at some point. If you never stop, at some point you'll get one. You just need to be ready for that moment.
I believe that.
And that's for anything.
I believe
that's
that,
for this
Darren.
podcast. That's for your acting. That's for whatever.
Yep.
You stay in long enough, you're going to get your shot. You just have to be ready. And if you're ready and you have, stuff to back you up because you have the experience of all the years of directing, all the years of acting, all the years of whatever, and you get that shot and you nail it, you're in.
It's a long con.
It is.
It's a long con.
And it's hard because, life gets in the way. Life happens.
Yep.
I mean, life happens, whether you want it to or not.
There's just people out there they're not all about it. I've seen it. I've been in LA for 9 years, and I've seen there's always a certain point of the year where you see the moving trucks coming in, and then at a certain point of the year the moving trucks are going out, and it's always like some people they're like, okay, if I don't make it in 8 months, I'm going back to Iowa. That doesn't make any sense at all. No. And I've tried to tell people, I've met, I drive Uber and Lyft on the side. I've had people, I just moved here to be an actor. And I'm like, you know what? The only thing I can tell you right now is don't quit.
Yep. Don't quit.
Because it's not going to happen in a year. It's not going to happen in 3 years.
Nope.
It's not going to happen in 5 years.
Nope.
The people that get it with that fast, they're lucky.
Very lucky.
They're lucky. I know a guy, he moved out here right when the whole Jersey Shore thing was going down.
Oh, for real?
fucking started booking shit left and right because they were looking for, that
yeah,
New York
yeah.
Italian guy, with the chains and the tan, and he was lifting weights and everything. And he was booking shit like crazy.
Yeah.
That guy's not the guy you want to be because that guy got lucky. He right place, right time. I'm not saying he's not talented, very talented guy,
but the opportunity was right. He was ready for it.
His best friend was already out here for 10 years. Was out here 10 years grinding, and he said, you should move out here. You should move out here and do this thing. I think you'd be good at it. Moved out here and hit right away. And they started doing stuff together, which is cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
but still, the one guy felt it. He felt all. So I don't even know how. It must have been tough to see his. But I'm just saying. What my point is, that shit doesn't happen.
Nope.
That's rare. That's one in a million stuff.
Nah, man, lightning strikes twice sometimes, man.
Right.
It does. But you have to be prepared and don't rush the process. Trust the process.
Right.
Heard that from Eric Thomas.
Okay.
Enjoy it. Enjoy the process that it's going to take for you to get there. Because if you don't enjoy it, then it's just,
What's the point?
Yeah. You're more like to go back home or quit or something like that. But if you literally tell yourself, there is no back. There is only this. Even when you're driving a car. Real shit. You're driving a car. If you stop, all you do is put that shit in park.
Car's still going forward.
Yeah, man. But even when you drive, man, don't matter if you take a left, you take a right, whatever you do, you're still going forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You still gotta maintain that. And if you getting caught up back there, man, slowly but surely, man, your ass gonna go in reverse, man. Or you gonna stop. You gotta. It has to be it. You only get one life, man. It literally has to be it. I didn't know I was gonna end up right here. I was football, I was basketball, I was personal training. I had a finance degree from Lehigh, blah, blah, blah. I got this, that, it was options. I always like to have options, but I exude myself and I try to exhaust that as much as possible. And I reassess, I think about, okay, go this way. Go this way. But you got to give it all.
Yep.
And the folk that, say if I don't get on in 8 months, I'm like, bro, man, shoot, man. Cats don't get on for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then like what you said, if your car stops, to continue with your metaphor, the world's still going to go right by you.
Still going.
It doesn't care about you in that sense.
Everybody's still moving.
So if you give up, then you're giving up. But if you keep going, then you can keep pushing forward. And my one story to this, it's probably one of my favorite memories from SC, film wise. So I think I was a senior at this point, and someone had posted on Facebook that Sam Raimi, guy who did Spider-Man and all that, was going to be at the school for a Q&A. And I stopped in for the Q&A, and
he did Evil Dead.
It was and Evil Dead, of course,
right.
Of course.
Fuck that Spider-Man
bullshit. I'm just saying, that's his most popular movie, arguably, in terms of box office. But anyway, after the Q&A, I stuck around and actually conversed with the guy for 30 minutes, one-on-one.
That's cool.
And we talked about just everything, just just in general. But the biggest piece of advice he gave me, and this is what he said, the moment you decide to have a life, quote unquote, or I'm going to step away for 6 months, to go do X, you're done. You'll never get it back. Right now, you're currently on this track of getting it done. Life is so consuming that the moment you decide to let it in a little bit, just the littlest amount, you're done. And because he said, and the reason why he told me this story is because he made a movie called The Quick and the Dead. I think it was his only Western.
Ooh. That's Sharon Stone.
Yep.
Young Leo, Gene Hackman.
Yep.
And it was not well received. Up until that point, he was getting good critical reception because of the Evil Dead movies or whatever. And it was his first, I think it was his first studio film. And he put a lot of effort into it. But he was teetering on this, I'm kind of big now, going to do other things. And, the movie wasn't well received. And he really took a big introspective look at himself and was like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Why wasn't this well received? What is wrong with this? And then he started looking at his life. I'm not saying he was partying or anything like that, but his focus just wasn't as opposed to Evil Dead, where it was just, I'm going to be this, I'm going to do this. And then he was able to and he said, only because I'm Sam Raimi, did I even have the fucking ability to fuck up like this and then still make another movie, still come back with Spider-Man. Yeah. And he was telling me, you're not me. And that's not a diss on you at all. It's just saying the moment someone like you at your level gives up, that's it. I had to make millions and millions of fucking dollars for studios in order to get that luxury.
Yeah.
And so that's why he was passing it on to me. And I took that to heart because it's real. It's real. At the end of the day, it's real advice. And it's true. It's unfortunate, but it's true because life is there at all times. It's the car. Once you stop, that life's just going to go right by you. Life. And once you're stopped on the freeway, it's almost impossible to fucking get going again. You got to call the tow truck. You got to get out that way. Because, I mean, once you're stuck, you're stuck. You can't accelerate to 80 unless you're in a Tesla.
Well, it's like breaking up with a girl and then trying to fix it and do it again. And the second time you do it, it's fun for the first month, but then you realize why you broke up, in the first place. You just waste.
And then if it keeps happening over and over and over again, then you're the problem. Yeah. And it's just like...
Oh, man.
So, all right. Well, I mean, we're getting to that time. I don't want to keep you here all night, but let's have some fun then. So, Daniel had an article yesterday. We don't have to talk about the article, but it's an article saying like the 15 craziest demands that actors have on set, like some just crazy shit. I don't know exactly, maybe,
okay,
maybe 1,000, like from Wayne's World 2, 1,000 brown M&Ms to fill a brandy glass, kind of shit like that. So let's say
it's
like
loading right now.
Once you get to that level, what is something crazy you might want to request? Well, not because you're like a diva, but just for fucking shits and giggles, just so you can tell your friends, like, yo, I asked them to do this shit, and they did it.
I want an RV for the boys, to come along.
Oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Once I get there, then that's already on the Mac. But I for real, man, like, I want 5 different bowls of my purple bag of Skittles, and I want them all separated by color. That's what I want.
Okay.
If I got
I feel like that's manageable. I feel like if I was a PA, like if my job was to separate Skittles, like that's a good PA job.
Yeah,
it's like
she better have some gloves on. He better have some gloves, whatever. You know what I'm saying? She better have some gloves on. But like, like one of them pound bags of during the Halloween.
Let's add one of those little mini like espresso spoons. So that's how they have to handle them.
Yeah.
The little, one of those. That'd be fun.
I think that. Yep.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So, have you heard any stories? I'm gonna go through the article, but I have one personal one. Have you heard of any crazy things, like based on people have told you things or whatever?
I had an instructor tell me about Diane Lane, where she's specifically she strictly said no one look at her while she's doing her thing. She had she had a teleprompter. She was doing some video for a benefit thing. It was a teleprompter, and the guy was running the teleprompter, and they said don't look at her. Well, she's reading and she fucks up. So, of course, because he's running the teleprompter, automatic, that's what you do. It's natural. Cool. He looks at her, cool. Fucking fired him that day. Fired him at the end of the day.
I have one, an agent came in. I was in a SC class, and it was like weekly Q&As with agents and things like that, just describing the filmmaking process. And he said one of the last straws that basically led to the breaking of the camel's back for Eddie Murphy's career was, I don't know if it was on Pluto Nash or something like that, but his request was one of many, and I'm talking about many. The main one was he wanted, obviously had a big full-on RV and everything like that, trailer for himself, and inside he had a spa, like jacuzzi thing like that, right? So his jacuzzi was filled with glass bottled water from like Norway, that really expensive shit. So every day, it would be filled with these bottled water, right? And then you would drain it and get a new, every single, whether he used it or not, it was to be emptied and then refilled at the morning. So when he could use it at any, and it had to be kept at like a certain temperature. So no matter what, if he was like decided, I'm right in the middle of the take, I don't feel like doing this, I'm going to go to the jacuzzi. If it wasn't on, that was breaking the contract. And Pluto Nash failed. I think it was on Pluto Nash, and it failed. And they were finally like, because it was like 6, I don't know how many movies in a row.
You ain't making enough money to be making.
And they were like, good, and it was good riddance.
Yeah, I mean, part of me also thinks he's a comedian, so maybe part of it was him pushing it on purpose.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, man. And then last question: if there was any movie out there we could reboot and have you star in it, what movie would that be?
Ooh, reboot it
from any movie
that's ever been made that you like. Maybe something you grew up watching as a kid.
Fucking James Bond, any movie, anything.
Oh, man, I always wanted to play James Bond. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to be the first black James Bond.
You might be. There still hasn't been one yet.
I think they already agreed for a contract for Idris. I'm not sure.
You don't know yet.
No, you're right.
Until we see it on the screen, you don't know.
Nah, I think You ever seen this movie called Once Upon a Time in the Old West?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Sergio Leone.
Yeah.
I'd be in that.
So you'd be Charles Bronson? Is that he's a lead, right?
Well, shoot. I don't even know. But you know what?
No,
I
who's
don't
the
even know if
lead in that?
I don't want to be Charles Bronson, but Charles
That's-
Bronson's character was beast, man.
Yeah, he was
But
dope.
that opening scene, man. The opening scene, like right, at the railroad.
At the train
at
tracks,
oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh, man. Come on,
Yeah.
man. Yo, I watched that at the crib. I was like, oh man, if I could have been in this joint right here, man. Literally, man. Yeah.
So that's the one you'd want to be a part of?
Yeah,
And
there's plenty, man. There's plenty, man. But that one just comes to mind, man.
Okay.
Shoot, man. If I could have been in Matrix, if I could have been in, plenty of stuff, man.
Right.
Last Boy Scout.
Oh,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
good action. Old
Yeah,
school
man.
Would you
action.
be
Bruce
Bruce Willis or
Willis?
Damon Wayans, though?
Ooh, man. What about it was Eight Life? What's his name? Billy. Damn. What's his
Billy
name?
Blanks?
Yeah. Is that Billy Blanks?
It looks like him.
It looks like him. I don't know if it is.
Yeah.
But I heard they doing White Men Can't Jump too. That's another one.
They are. They're remaking it.
Are they?
Yeah.
man.
Oh, my God.
I know. It hurts.
There's
It
nothing
hurts.
sacred anymore.
Yo, I say leave it alone.
Yeah.
Unless you want to give me the part though.
Well, so wait, they're remaking it or they're making a sequel?
Sequel. I think it's supposed to be
so
his
then
son.
maybe I'm
I think
wrong.
it's supposed to be his son.
Okay, well, I mean, why not?
Talk to your manager about that,
Yeah,
man.
man. We're gonna have to holler at you, man.
Get in there. So if you had to dunk, could you actually dunk or you need a trampoline?
What you mean, man? You better
I'm
come on,
just
yo,
saying,
man.
man.
Check my resume, man. What you mean, man? Nah, man, I'm banging off two. Ain't gonna be no. I ain't giving away my check. I ain't going home to Gloria upset. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit.
That's
Right.
good.
Well, we love having on you. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
Good luck out there, man. I know there's bigger and better things in your future, and we're
Oh, man, best to you, G.
You
Best
know.
to you, D, man. Good meeting
Thank you.
man.
All right.
Likewise.
And DGTalk.com, you know the drill.
Oh, do
anything
you
you
have
want to
any-
plug?
yeah, do you have
your
anything?
Twitter, or whatever.
Man, shoot, man. Sedale 3T, at Sedale 3T. That's my Instagram. But more than anything, man, Antilles, Glendale, Broadway, and Brand, right by the Americana. We got As You Like It, Shakespeare coming up, directed by Rob Clare. That
Is there a link for
25th.
tickets?
There is. If you go to Antilles.com.
If you send it to us, we'll put it on the website. We'll put it on. Yeah.
Yeah, it runs July 25th to September 10th.
Okay.
And It's Time comes out in next fall. So look out for that.
All right,
Let's do it. All right. We appreciate it. Really, we really do. It was great. I actually had fun today. So cool. But that'll do it.
All right.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
All right, folks.